So I've spent the last week or so playing around with Neri, the Neri Wayland compositor, and I really like it, but I had a problem with Neri using waybar. I didn't like waybar. Waybar didn't seem to act right, especially with my multi-monitor setup, so I discovered something called DankMaterialShell, and that's what I'm using now. If I move to an empty workspace, this is DankMaterialShell. It's basically, it uses QuickShell. QuickShell is a GUI toolkit used to create status bars and widgets and things for Wayland compositors. And there's several of these quick shells for Wayland compositors like Neri and Hyprland. There's several of these out there. You can create your own quick shell if you're so inclined. But this DankMaterialShell seems to be one of the more popular ones, so that's the one I went with. And I love this thing. The panel at the top is very customizable, but it looks good. I didn't change too much other than some of the font sizing and maybe some of the border radius and stuff. But let's just go over what is in the panel here by default. You do have a traditional menu system if you wanted to use it. I've never activated this thing other than I'm going to show it to you here on camera, right? It's got a normal kind of menu you could use. For me, of course, being that this is really a tiling window manager, I'm just going to launch everything through Rofi. That's what I've been using for a number of years now on all the tiling window managers I've been using. Things like Qtile and Xmonad and Awesome. I'm just going to keep using Rofi. Then you've got your workspaces. Right now, I am on the second workspace. If I go back up to the first workspace, you can see the workspace I'm on is blue and it's a little wider. If I go back down to the second workspace, it lets me know which one I'm on. If I do Super O here to get the overview, I could always see what workspace I'm on this monitor as well. Of course, I have a triple monitor system, so what QuickShell does, or what DankMaterialShell does rather, is it shows me the workspaces on this monitor. On my far left monitor, it shows me the workspaces on that monitor. On my far right monitor, it shows me the workspaces on that monitor. So that's great. I think that's what needs to happen, especially the way Neri handles multi-monitors. You're really not, it doesn't do like Qtile or Xmonad where it swaps monitors around like that. So everything is kind of its own separate set of workspaces. So it makes sense to have the workspaces only on the monitor that they're on. Some other things that you have in the panel, if I go back, I'll go to an empty workspace here. I don't have anything here because there's not a window open, but if I go back, you can see that I do have the window with focus. We'll have a title bar or a taskbar here, like a traditional kind of panel in a desktop environment, or a floating window manager typically has some kind of taskbar. You've got that here, and I like having that here because it reminds me of which window, especially if I have multiple windows open, it reminds me which one has focus. You can see now Alacrity has focus. If I change focus here, you can see now the Brave browser has focus. Let me close out of the terminal there. In the center, you have your clock and calendar information. If you click on this, you've got clock, calendar, and weather. I haven't set up the weather properly yet as far as geolocation. I guess I could enter my location here, but do I really want to tell you guys where I'm at? Most of you guys know where I'm at anyway. Plus, I get spotted out in the wild by regular people in real life. Pretty much everybody knows that I am in Northeast Louisiana. So let's go ahead and set up the weather widget. So let me go to settings, and then you get the DankMaterialShell settings manager here. And let me find time and weather. There we go. And I need to make sure that I enable weather. We use imperial units, so that's Fahrenheit. That's definitely what we need. And then location. So my location is Monroe, Louisiana. Let's go ahead and search for that. And there we go. And now, yeah, 49 degrees Fahrenheit is the current weather outside today. So the center widget is really nice because you just click on it and you've got an overview, you've got a media player, and this is really neat. Anytime you open anything that's media related, audio or video, you will get this. You will also get a player right here to the left of the time and date. So if I was playing something in YouTube or Netflix or pretty much anything, you're actually going to get kind of like a taskbar over here. You're going to get a little taskbar with the title of what is playing, plus you'll get like a icon, like a play icon like you would on a multimedia player. And of course you get that same kind of information in a different format here as well. You also have wallpapers here. Now, of course, this is my wallpaper pack here. So, you know, I've got a bajillion wallpapers here I can choose from. But if I just wanted to pick a different wallpaper, you know, just click on one and it immediately changes the wallpaper. You know, if I go back and go to wallpapers and pick something else, I can scroll through a little bit of stuff here. Here's one that I quite like because it's a nice contrast, very white, probably not great for you guys watching the video. Here's another nice one that's not quite as white. Yeah, that's a nice little wallpaper. Moving over to the right part of the bar, you do have a sys tray here, and right now I have Nextcloud, Network Manager, and OBS, the icon for it open as well because I'm recording in OBS here in Neri. And then you have a clipboard, and if I click on the clipboard, you see my latest clipboard history. I could clear that and get rid of that. And then over here we have CPU memory and GPU information. That's kind of like a system monitoring kind of application. I don't really play with this too much, but it is neat that that's there. And then you have your notifications here, and then power, and then finally over here you got this widget that includes some networking information as well as like your session menus for reboot, log out, and things like that. So how can you get DMS, DankMaterialShell, installed on Arch Linux or CachyOS, an Arch-based distribution? I'm on Cachy here. Well, if I actually open the browser again, let me get back to the GitHub, because there is some dependencies you may want to install. I'm going to go to the manual installation guide. They do have a curl installation where you just paste a curl command inside the terminal and run that, but yeah, that's not the way I would install it. If you're on Arch, here is a list of dependencies. Quick shell is one. So, you know, you would open a terminal, sudo pacman-S quick shell, dms-shell-bin is the package. I believe that is a AUR package, although that is in the standard Cachy repos. So really you need those two. And other than that, there's some optional dependencies that you could install. Matagen is one you might want. Some of this has to do with some of the widgets inside the DankMaterialShell. And of course, if you don't already have Neri installed, you definitely need Neri installed. But once you get all of that installed, you're pretty much good to go. You just what you want to do is get into your Neri config. So let me launch the Neri config and zoom in. And let me go to all of my startup applications here. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that in your startup hooks here, that one of the processes on startup is DMS run. That is the command to launch the DankMaterialShell. And that's really it as far as my startup hook that I'm using right now in Neri. I run swayidle. That way I set my monitors to turn off after a few minutes of not being used. Basically, it tells my monitors to go to sleep. Otherwise, if you don't have swayidle enabled or installed and you don't run this command, your monitors will just be powered on all the time. It's probably not what you want. Then I draw a wallpaper with waypaper. Then I launch DMS, right? And then I launch the Emacs server in the background. And then I launch my Nextcloud sys-tray widget up here where it syncs files from various machines of mine. And we should talk about my Neri config. It's not necessarily DankMaterialShell related, but just standard Neri configuration stuff. I have played around with some window rules and some key bindings. One of the things I did with key bindings is I wanted to make the key bindings similar to what I was used to in things like Qtile and Xmonad and DWM and Awesome. You know, a lot of those window managers had a certain kind of workflow with pretty similar sets of key bindings. I'm so used to using those key bindings over, 15 years or whatever. It was since the very first time I tried Xmonad, probably in 2008, right? I've got so many of those key bindings and that workflow ingrained in my head that I was trying to make Neri's key bindings make sense to me for what I expect some of the key bindings to do. For example, for me, the mod key, the super key, plus HJKL should always just shift focus in that direction. And so if I open a couple of terminals here, mod H should just move focus to the left. Mod L should move it to the right. Mod J should move focus to the window that's below this window, but guess what? There's not a window below this focus. But what I did with mod J, if I can find it here, is instead of focus column down, I focus window or workspace down. What does that mean? Well, that means if I do mod L to move to the right, if I do mod J right now to move the focus down, it moves focus down to the window that's down there, or if there's not a window below this window, which currently there isn't, it would just move to the workspace now, right? So that's mod J, that's mod K, that's mod H, that's mod L, and that's very easy for me to kind of work with. And then shifting windows around, mod Shift H, J, K, L, and I've arranged those with functions that make sense to me. For example, mod Shift H takes this window and moves it left, and mod Shift L moves right. Mod Shift J moves it down to the workspace down, which is how I would expect that to work. That was not a default key binding out of the box though. And then finally, Mod Shift K moves it back up to the workspace up. So now it really does act very similar to what I was used to in Qtile and in Xmonad and all those other window managers, and it's very comfy. But then I went a step further. I was like, what if I do Super Shift H to move this window left? Well, now it's the furthest left it can be on my middle monitor here. What if I do Super Shift H again to move it left? Well, there's nowhere left to go on this monitor, but my other monitors over here, why can't it just move to that monitor? And now I've set that key binding to do exactly that with my mod Shift key bindings here. They move the column in the direction that I want to go, or if there's nowhere else to go on that monitor, just put it to the next monitor. And that is exactly what happened. I can actually show you this. Here is a scene I created in OBS just for demonstrating this. This is monitors 1, 2, and 3, my triple monitor setup. So this is that window I just moved. Let me move it back to the right with Super Shift L, and then it's back over here. Now Super Shift H moves it there. Super Shift H moves it there. Super Shift L moves it back here. Super Shift L again moves it back over here, on my third monitor, and then Super Shift H, Super Shift H, Super Shift H, Super Shift J moves it down to that workspace. Super O gets me an overview where I can see where everything is. Maybe I just click that with the mouse to get to that window. Super Shift J to get focus back here. Super Shift K to move it back up. Super Shift C closes, and Super Shift C closes. Very similar key bindings to what I've been using for years in Xmonad and in Qtile. So that's a little bit of what I've spent actually several hours over the last few days doing, is getting Neri right for me. Working with those key bindings, tweaking the key bindings to where they make sense, they make the most sense to me, and playing around with the DankMaterialShell, making sure that it's nice. And this is great. I love the DankMaterialShell. Even out of the box, I really didn't change much, with going through here and playing around with various settings or anything. You can play around with the theming, like we didn't even talk about theming. I'm playing around with my own custom one dark color scheme theme, but if you wanted to, you can go in here and get custom themes or generic theming. You can just pick a highlight color here, or auto. I guess you could set auto theming as well. For me, I'm gonna use my theme here. You can play around with the widgets. You can play around. You can make the panel transparent. You can do all kinds of neat things here. And I've pushed my Neri config to my .files repository over on my GitLab. So if you want my Neri config, you want to play around with it, take a look at it, go check out my GitLab. You'll find a link to my GitLab in the show description. Now, before I go, I need to thank a few special people. I need to thank the producers of this episode. And of course, I'm talking about Matt, Steve, George, Darloff, Lee, Mark, Methos, Arjan, Peace, Arch, and Fedora, Roland, More Gentle, and Ubuntu, and Willie. These guys, they're my highest tiered patrons over on Patreon. Without these guys, this quick look at the DankMaterialShell would not have been possible. The show is also brought to you by each and every one of these fine ladies and gentlemen. All these names you're seeing on the screen right now, these are all my supporters over on Patreon, because I don't have any corporate sponsors. I'm sponsored by you guys, the community. If you like my work and want to see more videos about Linux and free and open source software like Neri and the DankMaterialShell, subscribe to DistroTube over on Patreon. Peace, guys.